I'm Dr. Priti Anand. I'm mentor from Study Medic, and today we'll be discussing an audit about the shoulder dystocia with the increasing birth injuries in the hospital. So I'm going to present it as a candidate, and we have Dr. Meenakshi, who is going to be the examiner for this. So hello, Meenakshi. We'll be starting it. So this is the case, what we are going to start. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Meenakshi, can we start?
Yes, ma'am. So we have
I'll just
done.
introduce myself first.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, I'm Preeti. I'm one of the exam candidates and I have read the scenario. I'm ready for the discussion.
Hi, Preeti. Well, actually, there has been an increase in the shoulder dystocia rate in this hospital. So how would you want to prove this, or how would you want to disprove this?
Yeah. So because there have been a lot of cases of shoulder dystocia with the increasing birth injuries from quite a long time. So I think it's better to do an audit here to know the cause. Basically, the audit is done to make sure that the patient care and the well-being is maintained. It is basically a systemic review of the care against the explicit criteria and implementing the changes. So audit will be best to be done in this case. So I'll be doing an audit in this case.
Okay,
Audit
so
basically has 6 steps. That first of all, we'll select a criteria, then we'll take a gold standard criteria through which we'll compare our finding. We'll take the data collection, data analyzing, we'll give the recommendation and implementing the changes, and thereafter we'll be doing a re-audit to close the audit cycle. So to start with, before the data collection, definitely I have a very solid and important topic that there is a shoulder dystocia with the increased birth injuries in the hospital. I'll compare my findings with the standard criteria, which will be from the GTG guidelines of Green Top guidelines of the RCOG. Before I start the data collection, it is very important that I make sure that I make a team for the data collection for doing an audit. So team will include me, my consultant, educational supervisor, midwives, my junior doctors, neonatologists, and few other members who are involved in the patient care in these scenario. I'll make sure there is one team leader. The name of the team leader and the contact number will be on the top of the audit sheet. The team leader will help us to guide us and to make sure if there are any controversies, he or she can make sure that those are solved. So team leader is very important. Before I start data collection, it is very important that I take an ethical approval from audit department of the hospital. So data collection basically is from the patient notes or the computer entries. It is important that the patient confidentiality has to be maintained. It is very important that all the team members, whether clinical and non-clinical, bind themselves to the Data Protection Act and the confidentiality of the patient. We'll make sure we'll not use patient identifiable information anywhere. Each patient will be given an audit code that will be entered in the audit sheet. Binding to the Data Protection Act and Caldicott principles, we will collect the data from the patient notes, and thereafter we will make sure that our sample should not be very small so as to give the erroneous findings, and our sample should not be very big so that it takes a lot of time to complete the study. So my sample size will be limited and appropriate as per my study, as per my audit. My methodology will be a retrospective study, which is quicker, easier, cost-effective. However, there are always chances of missing data in retrospective study, which I have to keep in mind. My audit tool will be a pilot performer. I will be entering it in a tabulated format. And whatever statistics I'm going to use, I will make sure that it is easy and understandable. So I'll be entering all my data in a table, and my statistics will be in the form of percentages. Basically, I'll be comparing it with the standards, whatever the criteria I'm going to see. So my audit tool will have the following steps, which I will recommend and implement the changes with respect to such cases. First, making sure that the first thing what they do in the case of shoulder dystocia should be macrobuds. So I'll see in how many cases it was followed or not. Then second, whether the neonatologist was present at the time of delivery in such cases or not. Whether the baby was examined for injuries immediately by neonatologist or not. There was documentation of all the cases, which making sure that it is accurate and comprehensive. And also, I'll make sure that the risk incident reporting was done. So in the tabulated format, I'll make sure whether it was done or not in the yes and no format and how much cases it was fulfilled in the percentage format. After I'll analyze my data with the standard criteria from the Green Top guidelines, making sure that the criteria is fulfilled or not. I'll be seeing it in a percentage, what the guideline says and what we have fulfilled. When all the data has been collected and we know our shortcomings, we'll give our recommendations and implement and try to make sure these recommendations are implemented for the further changes. So recommendation and implementation of the changes will be done in an audit meeting. I'll make sure all the people who are involved in such patient care should be present at the time of the audit meeting. And these meetings should take place specifically on the days where we have to make sure that only emergencies will be handled and elective procedures will be postponed. So I'll make sure a Saturday is considered to be a little free day. So we'll make sure that the audit meeting takes place in the morning time of the Saturday, making sure all the people who are involved in patient care should be attending these meetings. And all the people like my consultants, my educational supervisors, my junior doctors, senior doctors, midwives, neonatologists, and other people should attend, OT assistant, etc. In the audit meeting, I'll make sure I'm hard on issues and soft on people. I'll recommend the changes according to the need. For example, if the macrobot is to be followed, it has to be the preferably first thing to be done in the shoulder dystocia. So all the people who are involved in patient care should receive the appropriate training of the shoulder dystocia protocol with the trainings of the various procedures involved. Then if there has been any lacking in calling of the neonatologist, we'll take a meeting with the neonatologist team and make sure that they are always present in such cases. We'll make sure the shoulder dystocia performer should be present everywhere, specifically in the labor wards where such cases takes place, so as to make sure the documentation is complete. And incident reporting trainings and teachings will be given. So like this, I'll make the recommendations and we'll make sure these changes are implemented in future. In the same tabulated pilot performer, I'll make sure that these recommendations which we have given, particular person who is supposed to make sure these changes happen, his name will be mentioned in that table, and it's the duty of the particular person to make sure these implementation takes place. Now the changes can be circulated, the implementation of changes can be circulated in the form of emails, it can be circulated in the form of journals, by giving the notification at the back doors of the toilet, on the notice board, etc. So in this way, we'll make sure that all the recommendations are implemented, and we'll do a re-audit to see where we have achieved after 12 months. Re-audit will be done on the same tabulated format, making sure what we have met, making the difference from the previous criteria, from the previous what we have achieved to the newer what we have achieved, and again comparing it with the standard criteria. So like this, I will close my audit cycle. So this is the way I'm going to do an audit in such cases, and making sure that the changes are implemented and taken care of.
Okay, so would you like to add anything?
No, I think I have completed my part.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you. Oh, I think you completed everything.
Okay, thank you, Meenakshi. Just a small thing, guys. Everybody, these steps of the audit cycle are very important, and make sure you present it in the same way as I think I have done it. So if there is basically the audit is little theoretical, but you have to make sure the points which I have said you should not miss, because they are very important and they are very particular for the audit and the risk management stations. So these 6 steps in the widespread explanation, you have to, if you remember these 6 steps, you will be able to speak a lot of things. So these six steps in audit cycle are very important, and you have to make sure that you do not forget specifically to close the loop. That is very important. So if there is anything else, you can comment down below on our series, and we'll be happy in keeping in touch with you. And definitely this is going to help you a lot, making sure that it helps you clear the exam. So if there is anything else, you can comment and join us in StudyMedic app, and even the YouTube, and on our Instagram. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Thank you so much. Okay. Meenakshi, anything else would you like to add on? No, na?
No, ma'am, it was complete. It's important that we use buzzwords when we take up structured
Yeah,
discussion,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Caldecott principles and
Huh.
being hard on the issue, soft on the
Yeah.
target,
Actually,
following the
those
data.
words usually people forget. So that is the important thing that we have to take care, that these are buzzwords you don't have to forget, basically. Okay. Thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you for joining me, and thank you, be so
Thank you, ma'am.
patient. And thank you, Hima, for keeping this recording. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.